Says it's live now.
Yeah, we're live now. Okay, wow. That was abrupt. Saturday night at the Atheist. And here we go. God, I wish I could remember the other thing. And anyway, let me just... of course, I'm really not prepared. But anyway, listen to this. This is Dyer. I think he went to school for philosophy, or he claims to have taken some philosophy classes. I don't know what he really went to school for. But
it was like a PhD in philosophy.
Oh my God, he can't possibly have a PhD in philosophy.
Now you've heard. I think you've heard that before.
Really? That he has a PhD in philosophy?
Yes.
I just don't understand how anybody can be that dumb and get a PhD in philosophy. I mean, there's no way that you could be a dumb apologist and think you understand metaphysics. And oh my God, he's just such an idiot.
I think I know.
Anyway,
I think I know how.
How? You pay somebody?
Well, no, it's because he chose to do his thesis, presumably, on the transcendental argument, which is a bullshit from the start. So you can't get it wrong because it's bullshit.
But how would you get it? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. There you go.
And he managed to do the work. There's an interesting... Someone did a debunking of J. Dyer. And they managed to they found a clip of him just before he went live in a debate, right? So presumably they were backstage, and he's talking about doing cocaine. So I think his work ethic is drug fueled, shall we say?
He kind of seems like it. You know, he gives off that cocaine vibe.
Yeah, he does.
So I wouldn't doubt it. But
how long have you been live for? Oh, only just. Okay, I got here in time.
Just 2 minutes. Okay, give this a listen and see what you think about it. Now he prefaces this with Professor Dave clipped that part out, but he says this is the very best argument against evolution that there is. So let's listen to his argument against evolution, because he's got it figured out.
What good is 1/8 of a PP? It's no good. Like, you got to have the PP and the testicles, right? So what good is 1/8 of a PP? Because there would be millions of years where the process of the PP comes to be PP, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. What good is 1/8 of a vagina? No good. Pointless.
What the fuck would 1/8 of a vagina look like? Can
I don't know.
tell me what that?
I imagine it would look pretty good to somebody with 1/8 of a PP.
I guess so, yeah. But I'm just wondering, what is 1/8 of a vagina? I mean, I can imagine 1/8 of a PP, but not a vagina. Anyway, so this is cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Speechless. So as you can see, this guy Jay is a moron. His friend in the corner is a moron, and both of them are engaged.
Anyway, so I've got that in my description, and we might. Okay, I also have the original videos that Professor Dave got this from, and I'm not sure if I have his original critique, but I might somewhere in my description. So we'll take a look at that, but we got something else we're going to look at. So anyway,
I'm just kind of blown away.
I would have liked... Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
I was just kind of blown away by that whole 1/8 of a PP talk, because obviously creatures and organisms have been getting rid of waste material for millions and billions of years.
Right.
I mean, it's not that big of a blocker. Are they doing that because they so disrespect the intellect of their audience that, and believe me, his audience has given him reason to disrespect him, but does he really so disrespect his audience that they can't understand that getting rid of waste is just something living organisms do, and life has developed many and I guess sundry ways to do that. It's just stupid that he would have to sink so low.
Yeah, there's sperm dispersal, and how much of a pee-pee does a fish have, right? You ever seen a fish penis? They're not exactly 7 inches long. It's just a method of dispersing sperm, and it became basically somewhere along the line, the male and female, it was advantageous for them to be closer together, you know, and it just, I mean, you could see the developmental steps. But anyway, so JimBoob's nub theory, I didn't realize that he got it from Dyer, because that video was from 2 years ago.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
That's where you got the nub theory. I mean, it's just like, holy shit.
That's Rebecca quality.
Oh my God, it is. It's just horrible.
I mean, does he, you know, like, what I'm thinking here is, does he think that because you've only got 1/8 of a PP, you can only get rid of 1/8 of the waste?
I don't know.
No, they don't even understand it. Yeah.
Legitimate question. And that's what I would have asked him. And then, like, you know, then he would have gone, oh, yeah, okay, it is a bit dumb to talk about 1/8 of a PP, isn't it? He even calls it a PP. He doesn't call it a boning machine.
A penis. Yeah.
A penis even, right? Or, you know, an erection, you know?
Yep.
But no. He's calling it a PP, which is to do with waste, not to do with sexual intercourse.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Never mind. Smarts has never been his strong sport.
Now, there's some things I do not understand. I do not understand Apologetics Press, right? Apologetics Press has all these videos about God and, you know, resurrection and all that crap. And then they've got these evolution videos, which are all with these guys. These are their scientists that they get in to explain evolution to us. And I'm very confused. But I'm playing a little clip in the middle, and then we'll get back to what it's about.
My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. No, sir. My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty, there's nothing my God can.
Square circle, maybe? I don't know.
Well, where do you think they went to college for evolution, these guys? But this is their evolution content.
Point.
No, sir. The mountains are his, and the valleys are his, and the trees are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do for you. My God is...
it's kind of catchy, you know? I mean, you got to admit, it's kind of catchy, but then they kick in the high gear here. They go
Love
a little
that song.
bit of punk.
Can we sing it a little bit faster? Okay. In the beginning God made the seas, and the forest filled with trees, and the mountains up so high, and at the top he placed the sky. His fingerprints are everywhere, just to show how much he cares, and in the middle he had some fun. He made a hippo that weighs a ton. Hip, 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 hippopotamus, hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Hip, 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 hippopotamus, hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Woo! That was bad.
Yeah, that's some fucking content right there. I'm just...
Write a song.
You know, and well, I'm trying to figure out who is this video for, because it's called Punctuated Equilibrium and the Cambrian Explosion. Okay, now 5th graders and 6th graders never heard of any of this shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you get to it till about maybe 9th grade or maybe 10th, 11th grade biology, and then you're still not going to hear about punctuated equilibrium, I don't think, but. Cambrian explosion, maybe, who knows. And when I went to school, they never mentioned the word evolution once in my entire 10-year run at the Mount Marion High School. Of course, I am a high school dropout. But,
you know, I can't really remember what they said about evolution in the actual science class, but just about every teacher had their own freaking religious comment about evolution.
Oh, really? Down south, yeah. Well, in Minnesota, we never heard the word. It was never, I don't know where we thought everything came from. I guess we thought, you know, it came from evolution. We never really had a religious angle on it. Of course, I was, you know, raised in an atheist household, sort of, kind of. My mom was a Christian. My dad were not. Anyway. But, yeah. So let's see what this video is about. I'm sorry, Dave, but I'm getting into the video, like, and it's only 10 after.
Uh
Wow.
Zing. Yeah, just fucking clipped you there, didn't I?
Yeah.
There's a new sheriff on the block.
Yeah.
I can start talking about something.
Yeah, let's talk about stuff. We don't want to rush this shit, do we? I don't know.
You running
got
things,
nobody-
Mike. Somebody
ain't
was just
running
asking
shit.
about me. I was just
Nobody would-
feeling like crap the last few days, and Mike's running the show. So whatever Mike wants to do.
I'm not much of a showrunner. As my ex-wife would point out, like last night my kid called me and said, your car door's open, and fine. So then me and the ex were going shopping this morning at Walmart and Sam's Club. And I get in the car and it goes click, 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 click. My fucking battery's dead. So then I got my battery charger hooked up to my Cadillac outside to keep the Cadillac from freezing. And my snowplow guy piled 3 feet of snow on it, which melted and turned to pure ice. So it took me 25 minutes to get the cord loose so I could unplug the goddamn thing and move it. And anyway, there's a point here. My ex-wife says, boy, you're getting really bad. And I said, getting? I mean, Jesus Christ, I've been doing this stuff all my life. And she keeps saying, I'm getting bad. It's like, I think I've been bad since I hatched. Like 15 years or 12 years ago, I filled my Cadillac up with gas. I think it's like 25 gallons, and brought it home 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My son was out of town, parked it in the garage, jumped out and ran in the house. Next day I come out to go to the store at 4 p.m., 25 hours later, and the garage was 110 degrees. And my Cadillac, you could toast on it. And but it wasn't running, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Well, it ran out an entire tank of gas idling overnight in the garage. Fortunately, our garage is not piped into the house, or I would have killed myself. But yeah, I've been doing this stuff forever. So anyway, my point is I shouldn't be running nothing, not even a car. Nobody should allow me.
Good thing you didn't have electric.
Yeah, my son does. Yeah, that shuts off when he walks away. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's an awesome thing. Okay, well, what the hell's going on? I'm doing
got a question in the chat here.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, yodeling.
Don't strain anything. Trying to pronounce it.
There you go. If evolution wasn't gilded by God, or gilded by God, wouldn't animals evolve into things that would just die off?
Who wants to take that one?
Well, I can take that one, and I've got no expertise in evolution whatsoever.
I've already answered it.
My guess is to say yes.
You answered? Okay. Here we go.
Yeah,
Scott
of course.
answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise they wouldn't survive. Yeah. So what we're left with, so what was the original, wasn't guided by God? Okay, if evolution was guided by God, would there be extinction? Or did God fuck up?
Is there extinction? I mean, basically, yeah, well, there wouldn't be extinction if God was guiding it, presumably.
Right. Yeah, because he would never fuck up because he's just that good.
Made 99.9% of things to go extinct.
Yeah. When animals evolve into things that would just die off. Yeah, but that's kind of the whole point, Yodel. Yodeling swagno bro. Yodeling swagno bro. That's a mouthful. How did that evolve? How did that evolve without an intelligent designer? Oh, and I'm pretty sure it did.
Oh, yodeling. YOLO McMuffin Swaggerlo.
Yodeling.
Bro. Okay, he's a bit of a confused. Oh, it plays Armor 3 though. There is that.
How do they evolve into things that survive? It is chaotic. Wouldn't everything die off? No, that's the whole point of evolution. It's chaotic enough that there's a few percent at the top that survive, and that's the way it works. And the rest of the babies, unfortunately, are aborted. The ones that have bad genetics. It's not that difficult to understand if you just take I'm suggesting a beginning evolution book and just kind of read about it and see what they have to say. Anyway, not a big deal. Things don't evolve on purpose. Evolution is what happens over time. Yep, no purpose. Anyway, should we play some video, or what should we do,
Yes,
boys
please.
and girls?
Yeah. Let's play a bit of
We
video.
want to get ready.
Do what we do best.
This is pretty good stuff.
Come to the science place. Digger Doug is the answer. Sits a where the facts are found.
Was that a stop?
Yeah, it kind of was, because that's the traditional thing I do. I thought that was a kangaroo when it first jumped down, and it was just going to fall to the bottom of the earth and come out in Australia. And I thought,
that's how it happened.
He solved it.
I never thought of that.
No, me neither. Me neither.
That's
Eric.
how it happened.
I came up with a much
That's how-
better. Do you remember my theory that I came up with of how the kangaroo got to Australia after the ark?
No.
Oh, in 2 generations, it evolved into a 400-foot kangaroo and hopped across.
Oh.
And then the next 2 generations, it shrunk down to a 9-foot kangaroo.
That works. I like the whole theory, the manhole theory, better though.
I do. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Imaginative, almost childlike in its detail.
It is. Okay, I think this is the intro, but I'm not certain.
It's Digger Doug's Underground. Sing your favorite song at the singing sycamore tree. Join the other kids. It's so much fun to see. It's
I don't know
Mole
what the hell's
sucks.
going on.
They tear up your whole yard, you ruin your garden.
Okay,
Do
here's
it
the
all in
setup.
the
Sure
afternoon.
hope I pick for the Hillside Aardvarks for football team this year.
That'll all depend
What
on
the hell is
how
this?
tryouts going on.
Coach, you don't have to worry about a thing. I'm well known for my exceptional abilities on the football field. I mean, last season, I was the fastest, strongest, most athletic. Coach,
Iguanodon.
what are you looking at there?
You are one tall dinosaur going on.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You are growing really fast. If you grow much more, we may not have a uniform to fit you.
I'm growing really fast. That must mean I'm going through that thing Mr. Badger told us about. What was it called? Pilferated elephantism? No, pomegranate eradication? Oh, no, I remember what it was. Punctuated equilibrium. I'd better go tell Digger Doug about this. Doug, something very exciting is going on here.
I know. This new tunnel to the supermarket is going to make shopping a whole lot easier. I don't know why I didn't think of this tunnel a long time ago.
Doug, I'm not talking about your tunnel. This exciting thing has to do with me and my exciting career in football.
What's the news on that front?
I'm going to be the biggest football player on the planet, Doug.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, Diggy, but what makes you think that now?
Well, because I'm going through punctuated equilibrium, Doug.
What?
So you guys are speechless, right? Speechless. You just nothing to say about
just
this.
don't- Do they strap the kids in when they make them watch this stuff and prop their eyes open with toothpicks? I just don't see kids watching this voluntarily.
Well, what I don't understand is they don't anywhere say this is for kids. I think this is for the congregation. I don't know. For more material, contact information, and ordering information, go to apologeticspress.org. Choices for families. Oh, explore simpler, safer experiences for kids and families. Okay.
Well, you know it's stupid because the comments are turned off.
Yeah.
You know, to be safer, get ice out of fucking Minneapolis. That'd be safer. Yeah. Anyway, did you hear that Minneapolis, the first city it's being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize? Can you imagine what Mr. Trump is going to say if Minneapolis wins the Nobel Peace Prize?
He'll drop a nuke on Minneapolis.
Oh my God, we're toast. We're fucked. We better get out of here. Oh my God, yeah, that just came out. Some group nominated Minneapolis. I mean, it would be a really weird thing. It'd be the first time a city ever got the prize. So anyway, okay. Let's see where we're going. Where are we going next? Okay, punctuated equilibrium.
Punctuated equilibrium, Doug. You see, punctuated equilibrium is the part of evolution where animals jump real fast from being one kind of animal to being something totally different. I know what punctuated equilibrium means, but Iggy, no, you don't. What kind of touchdown score machine I'm gonna?
Yeah, apparently don't. I don't know. So Stephen Jay Gould and Eldridge, I think, came up with this idea that they wanted to explain perceived gaps in the fossil record, but that wasn't their only thing. They came up with the idea that a species will enter a stasis period for a long time, and we know they do that. We know there are stasis periods where the phenotype doesn't change for a long time, like the coelacanth and that crab thingy, and then they thought that within 100,000 years that there was a rapid speciation events, and they would, like all of a sudden the environment would get real testy. We'd have a glacier or meteor or some horrible thing would happen, and that would cause a rapid period of speciation. And and that's a theory in a nutshell. But then Stephen Gould wanted to go further, and he wanted to be a little contentious, and he tended to shoot his mouth off like biologists do. And he ended up in a big fight with the evolutionary community, because they were like, no, that isn't what happens all the time. And it seems like Gould kind of doubled down on it and said, no, this is always how speciation happens. But it's more nuanced than that. And he wrote wonderful books on evolution and stuff. So that's what's going on. But it's over 100,000 to 1 million years, that we would have a speciation event where there would actually be a noticeable phenotypic change in form of some animal. So that's the truth of the matter. But these guys think it's like a dog giving birth to a cow or whatever, or a banana giving birth to a cat, which would be horrible.
They didn't read past the first paragraph.
No, they didn't really understand how this works. And so anyway, for me, a lot of biologists just rattle when they hear punctuated equilibrium. But for me, it's like, okay, it's one piece of the story. This kind of stuff did happen. If you have a huge population of beetles living in a forest, and there's a glacial dam breaks and a river kind of flows through and cuts them in half, within even 10,000 years, you're going to start to see differences between the two beetle populations. And that just happens naturally. And then if one side of the river had a different environment than the other side, you would see that more rapidly changing, right? So, I mean, this is just a part of the whole theory of evolution. And we shouldn't get our knickers in a bundle when we hear the word punctuated equilibrium, just because Stephen Gould was a loudmouth. Anyway. Okay.
Once PE gets through with me. PE? You mean your physical education?
Am I boring as fuck when I talk about science?
No, we're just listening.
Okay.
No, I'm
classes at school.
trying to learn here, please.
Okay. Oh, well. I don't think anybody comes to SNATA to learn. I don't know. We want to keep it light. I don't know.
You're not learning much. You're not learning much from this video.
Yeah, you can learn much from this one.
No, silly. Not physical education classes. I mean punctuated equilibrium. The very thing that'll change me from a star player on the school team to, well, legend. they can't possibly keep the biggest football player in the universe out of the Hall of Fame.
Where did you hear about punctuated equilibrium?
Yeah,
Iggy?
where?
Has your science teacher been telling you about it?
As a matter of fact, it was Mr. Badger who unlocked my future of gridiron greatness.
I thought so. And why do you think you're going through punctuated equilibrium?
Well, because my football coach told me that if I didn't quit growing, they wouldn't even have a jersey big enough to fit me anymore, Doug.
Iggy, I'm glad you want to play football, and I'm sure that with your size, you do stand a good chance of making the school team. But there's a problem with the idea of punctuated equilibrium.
You mean Mr. Badger was wrong again?
I'm afraid so, Iggy.
If that...
Okay, so here's a kid's video, right? Telling the children to not listen to their teachers. I mean, isn't this wonderful?
Very Canadian.
Isn't this just what you want your kids to hear? Go to school, kids, but don't listen to your teachers when they tell you all that funky math stuff, like about pi and circles and all that. I mean, that's just their opinion. You don't want to believe that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
Go home and get the real answers in this book you keep on the
Genesis.
shelf. Yep.
Yeah, real answers.
That's what they tell them.
Genesis.
That's what they tell them.
This is really disturbing that they put out this content and that they target children with it. It's it's funny, but Jesus Christ, this is really tragic at the same time. Pretty amazing.
That's true. Then I would be destined to be pretty much what I am now, right?
Well, you might grow a little more, Iggy, but you're not going to change into a whole different kind of animal.
Hey, Doug, who you calling?
Paleopala? Hello, this is Digger Doug.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Paleopala. So we showed a little clip from this last week, right? Let's see. Okay, 7:34. Okay, so here we go. University Library, home of paleontological, what is that? Studios? Office of Professor Paleopala. Yeah, okay. Oh my goodness. So anyway, she's a trip. Okay, she's in a library putting away books. Look what the fuck she's wearing. Like, what the? Somebody want to explain that to me? Like, this is...
Yes, who is it?
Digger Doug and Iguanodon.
Oh, great. Come on in.
What is she
Glad
wearing?
to see you today, friend.
Is she a park ranger?
Paleopala.
Or is she running the paleontological studio or whatever the hell it is?
Are you still studying things that got Doug?
Yeah, it's like, what is the hat for? What do you need that hat for indoors? Oh, they all got hats on. Okay. Anyway.
Up from the ground.
You know it.
Would you be surprised if I told you that I may be transforming into the most unstoppable force in the history of football?
In the history of football, Iggy, there have been a lot of spectacular football players, Iggy. I mean, from...
Iggy has the idea that he might be going through...
Oh, let me tell her, Doug. Let me tell her.
Okay, Iggy, go ahead.
Paula, I think I may be going through Hilfer-rated epicness.
I'm not sure I know what that means.
Iggy's talking about punctuated equilibrium.
Oh, the idea that animals evolve by changing quickly from one animal into another without taking millions of years.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I think the mole should ask her about what an eighth of a PP can do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear her handle that one. To get around with Jay Dyer, that would be an interesting combination. So, I have a prediction about tomorrow's halftime show, not the real one, but the alternate one with Kid Rock. My prediction is that there are going to be a lot of cowboy hats worn on the people performing.
Ooh.
So that's my prediction. Okay, I'm going to bet on that. I'm going to bet on 5 hats, 5 cowboy hats. So we'll see. Anyway.
That's what I said.
Iggy, punctuated equilibrium doesn't happen.
Yeah, so I hear.
There was an evolutionist named Stephen Jay Gould. He knew that there were no fossils of animals that were evolving when they died. So he came up with this...
What the fuck? What the fuck did she just say?
Making up her own.
No fossils of animals that were evolving when they died. Okay. So, like, let's unpack that one. So you got a baby, okay, and it starts out, like a little raccoon or whatever, and then when it's like 11, 12 years old, it evolves into a sheepdog, and and then when it's 35, it evolves into a jackrabbit. But then when it dies, it's not evolving into anything during the time. On the day it dies, it hasn't been evolving into anything. So that's what paleontologists said. So how about that? Anyway, yeah, Prophet Mike says cowboy hats at what the hell is that organization that's doing the secondary halftime show? Have you heard about this, Simos?
No.
Okay. So, like, I don't know. Have you heard of the World Series? I kind of heard about it.
Oh, yeah. I know the words. That baseball.
Okay. I heard about it. Yeah. And anyway, so they're having a halftime show and they're having Bad Bunny, who's not an American, but he's from Puerto Rico. And,
yeah. Okay.
They're all upset about it because he's just not American enough for them. So they're going to have an alternative, Turning Point USA. Thing that
I know who they are.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the guy that got killed. Anyway, so they're having an alternative halftime show, and Kid Rock is headlining, and then they got a bunch of other people who nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, I think I've heard of a couple of them, of course. But
and
I've always
so
found
far,
Kid Rock to be slightly dodgy, to say the least.
He's pretty dodgy. He's really dodgy. They came out with some lyrics from a song and some other things that he said. About underage girls, yeah, pretty dodgy, yeah. Yep, he said it's not statutory, it's mandatory. Is in his song from about 10, 15 years ago. What the hell was he talking about? I don't know. But he's in the Epstein files.
That tells you, but yes, indeed.
Yep.
Well, he claims he's not, of course.
He's such an asshole. He's just another. There's a few from Hollywood that turned into just total assholes. But,
he reminds me very much of somebody from our day, which is Ted Nugent.
Oh, yeah. Yep, did the same thing. And then there were some actors. Who the hell was the one that was in Christmas Vacation? The crazy hillbilly brother-in-law. What's his name?
He wasn't he squatting or something? Did he squat somebody's house?
Yeah. He was a crazy brother-in-law or a hillbilly brother-in-law. Yeah. Who's that actor? What the hell's his name? Randy Quaid. Yeah. Anyway, Randy Quaid went way off the deep end. I mean, he is just a son of a bitch. Anyway, yeah. So speaking of racism, now Roseanne Barr made a comment about black people, like 5 years ago or so, and she was immediately, her show got canceled. She got kicked off the set of Roseanne, which she started. Her career ended, and she ended up becoming a crazy person because she made a text comment that was racist. The president of the United States posted a video night before last on Obama, the Obamas. I don't know if anybody's seen it. If you've seen it, you cannot fucking unsee it. Have you heard about this, Simos?
I haven't, no.
Okay, this is a fucking problem. Okay, this should have been worldwide news immediately when it happened. He put the Obama's faces on a monkey and an ape.
Yes, I did hear about that. Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, and he's gonna people are just gonna. It's gonna be a news story for 2 days, and it's gonna go away. And with Roseanne Barr, it became a lifelong sentence. Right, with anybody else, it ends their career. It ends them. Just fucking as it should. Full stop. Ends them. With this son of a bitch, he just blows it off as, oh, I watched the first part of the video and I didn't see that part. And people are going to let him get away with it. It's like, what in the fuck is going on in this country, guys? I mean, what is going on? What does the rest of the world think about this, Simos? What's happening? I mean,
well,
for the entire globe, Simus, what does the world think?
Well, the whole world thinks that obviously America is America, and it can only happen in America, is the phrase, right?
oh my God! But no, we weren't like
only
this.
in America could this be the case. I mean, to be honest, like I've just posted the link of the channel, which I do some work on, and we went into the history of it, and it turns out that fascism was exported from America to Germany.
Yeah.
So there was a film made in the early 30s which got exported to Germany, and close ties were set up as soon as the Fascist Party started in Germany. And they exported some of their eugenics ideas to Germany. And this was done through the Pioneer Fund, which was set up sometime earlier. So anyway, you can see all of that on the channel that I posted, and Chris Mouty goes through, brings the receipts for it. So it's like there was a close link between Hitler's regime, the Nazi Party, and some of the mega rich in America.
Yeah. So when Kennedy got elected, John F. Kennedy got elected, I was in 6th grade. And then I entered 7th grade, maybe 5th grade even, I'm not sure. But he was assassinated when I was in 7th grade, I believe. And I was in civics class. And in civics class, we were taught that the Civil War ended racism, basically. That's what they taught us. That was a story to Minnesotans. Young Minnesotans growing up did not know that there was still racism happening in the South. We didn't know it until the Civil Rights Movement. We had no idea. We were brought up to believe that America was this wonderful, sterling, shining thing, right? And that's what we have all come. I mean, up until Trump got elected the first time, I still thought that. I still believed in a lot of that, particularly after Obama. And now all of a sudden, what the fuck? Were we fooled the whole time? Was this all a propaganda move? And none of that shit's real? I don't know. I don't know. But I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I do not want to be a part of this country. So.
Okay,
anyway.
so just let me just give you a couple of facts. March 11th, 1937 was when the Pioneer was set up, and it was funded by Wycliffe Preston Draper, who was a very rich man in America. So yeah, and obviously some funds went to Germany. They exported a film that he made, and that was funded by that to Germany. And that was all about the ideas of dysgenics and eugenics. Anyway,
yeah,
there we go. And they're still around today. The Pioneer Fund. That's how wealthy this guy was.
No shit. Still around.
Still around, yeah, and they're still doing their sterling work of funding anti-science and far-right propaganda.
Oh my God! It's called the Pioneer Fund?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to go check that video out. Anyway.
Yeah, make sure you sub to Chris's channel, and a lot comes up. I mean, the whole history of it. We went right back to 1880s to see the first beginnings of social Darwinism, which is the term that they decided to put on it to try and glob off Darwin. Darwin never really agreed with it, even though it was in his family.
Yeah.
The guy a guy called Galton, who was a nephew, I think, of Darwin.
You can see where the idea would pop up, but it's when you think about the practice of the idea, that's where it begins to really stink. And I don't understand what the hell they thought they were doing. Yeah.
Well, that's the switch, right? That's the switch between eugenics and dysgenics, right? Eugenics is trying to improve the stock of the human race, and dysgenics is trying to get rid of the negative features of the the human race, right? And they decided what the negative features were by some very slick work in the science. It's not science at all, of course, but it's their made-up prejudices, master's science.
Yeah. I think the features we want to get rid of are things like cancer and kidney disease, diabetes, birth defects, all of that stuff. Those are things that we want to genetically modify. But if they come up with something else about, maybe skin color, that might be a problem.
Yeah, IQ is the one that Charles Murray came up with, of course, in the 90s.
My God. Yeah, IQ is just such a fucker. It's such a fucking bad idea all the way around. But it's, so colloquial. It's so popular, the idea.
Well, it's also, again, it's pseudoscience when it comes to what Charles Murray did, because you go through the book and it actually, this is the thing, right? It wasn't based on IQ scores. There's no IQ scores that he looked at and measured in that book, right? The bell curve. And secondly, it's not a bell curve. The data that he got was not a bell curve. He had to modify the data to make it into a bell curve.
Okay.
Right, which is a selective process by itself. So the statistics are wrong, and they're not even based on what he's claiming that they are based on. That's just how ridiculous that is. And of course, guess who that was funded by? Pioneer funds, right?
What is this?
It's just crazy.
If Stephen Miller's in charge, everyone with more hair and a bigger penis is going up against the wall on day one. Yeah, we're all going to end up with 1/6 of a PP.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do with that? I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Ask President Trump what you can do with that. He knows.
Yeah. Well, I tell you one thing: it would make people with 1/8 of a PP very popular. Oh no, it's the other way around. It's the other way around.
Skeptic philosophy. He really mentioned it again on MythVision.
Oh, live? You're kidding.
What is he doing on MythVision?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, what is he doing on MythVision? Somebody.
I've got to look at that. Hang on a minute.
Somebody needs to investigate that. Jesus Christ.
I'm on it.
What is wrong with Derek that he would have JimBoob on? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, he's got Dave on as well. Oh, fantastic. Dyer. Oh right, I think this is. Oh no, it is. You're right. They're on. Let me just put the link in there.
Is he doing a critique, or is?
I don't know. I think it's an interview.
What the fuck is
I just stuck it in private chat there.
Oh, okay. Well, we got to put it in big chat too. Private chat, big chat. Let me see here. Dyer gets completely. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. This is. Oh, okay. This Professor Dave is on. Oh, nice. Professor Dave is slaying Dyer, and wow, that's interesting. Got to check that out. That happened today. That's happening live right now. Yeah, it is. It's live. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Anyway.
Yeah, he's talking about that on MythVision, and I think he already did a show on his channel already. So he's really covering Dyer.
Brilliant.
He's actually giving him too much infamy. Well, Dyer got like 27,000 views on the clip he did with JimBoob where he mentioned 1/8 of a PP. So 27,000 people found that to be watchable, I guess, or
hilarious. I would imagine. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've paid more. I would pay more to watch that than I have paid for some stand-up shows.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. 1/8.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh wow, somebody who thinks he's smart is actually dumb. Oh,
I watched Idiocracy 3 times, so anyway. You can't look away. I mean, it's hard to look away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I can't believe. And who else who's in the upper right? Is that Dyer?
Let me just have a look. No, I don't think so. Let me just look.
Because no, it looks like somebody
No,
else.
that's not J Dyer. I don't know who that is actually.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. This ought to be exciting to hear Professor Dave talk to JimBoob. Oh my God, I gotta watch this shit. We gotta watch that. Anyway, we got a video to watch.
Absolutely.
Let's switch back to a lighter subject. A really light subject.
I mean, we could do the live criticism of it.
We could. Oh, of J Dyer.
Yeah, of the JimBoob one.
Oh,
we can all laugh along at JimBoob live.
Is JimBoob actually live, or is he's frozen? So I'm not sure if he's.
No, I am assuming that he's just using that as his avatar.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Oh my God.
Or maybe that's maybe that's the video they're watching. I don't know.
I don't know. You want to switch over and watch? You want to switch over and watch a little bit? We could.
Yeah. I mean, actually, we need to go back because J Dyer is on. So they're watching. I think they're watching something else. Yeah. Oh no, he was live. Look, I can see him live in there.
Okay.
A little bit before, and then he seems to go quiet. I think he probably just jumped off, just crashed his internet or something, I guess.
Oh my God. Well, no, I'm still seeing him. Still seeing him there. I don't know. Anyway, what should we do? Should we switch over? See what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
It may be just Derek from MythVision reacting to a video. It may not be live, Professor Dave.
Yeah, but it's got like they're all in the same,
Yeah, no, he is speaking live. I think he's just his screen is frozen.
Okay. Wow. Holy shit. So JimBoob is actually talking to Professor Dave. That has got to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's got to be stupidity of its highest degree to talk to someone like
Yeah, switch to it.
Dave and not expect a complete fucking slagging off.
Okay, I'm gonna switch and see what's going on.
This just in. We now go to the Professor Dave and JimBoob discussion in progress.
Oh, let's see here. Okay, share screen. And J Dyer gets completely something. Char. I'm going to char it. And we'll put it in theater. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, we got it. Okay, let me get the audio on and see what's going on here. Come on, what are you doing to me?
That are in a different phase of their penisness. Then hold on. Let me get the question out.
That's important though, because that made.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's back up just a little bit because he's talking about the penis.
The question I'm asking is
the guy in the upper right hand side is Neil Sindlak from I forget the other channel, but he's he collaborates with Derek a lot, but that's Neil Sindlak.
Okay. So anyway, JimBoob is kind of like up against it here, right? Okay, let's listen to his penis theory again.
What's the events that take place that goes from not having that thing to having it? So if you went back to the worm, okay, and you pointed to other things that have penises that are in a different phase of their penisness, then I understand. Hold on, I know, but hold on. Let me get the question out.
That's important though, because that made
Oh my goodness, this is just
no sense to me either.
Hold on.
Let me say one thing. I just want to say one thing and respond to what you are actually think you're asking. It's very important that we're not talking about just variety, like, oh, this one's like that, this one. No, I'm talking about gradations of structural and morphological complexity, such that these like iterations that you're looking for, this is them. right? A flatworm penis or something else for these very small animals. It's it's structurally very simple, and that's a clue. It's an indicator as to what can have come before. Something like that can have come before on the way to a mammalian penis.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but the thing is, I could just highlight.
Do you think he really understands what he's saying?
One of those things, and if I asked, well, you know, this gradual process toward the types of things we see today in a variety, just look at the other things we see today, like this flatworm penis has a penis too. But isn't it true that from the evolutionary view, even that flatworm penis had to evolve from something before it that didn't have that current penis developed, right?
What we're doing is we're identifying this structural, this spectrum of complexity of whatever organ or system, whatever you're talking about, and we're populating it with all these instantiations of more and more complex. And all you're doing is going, oh, there's a gap here, there's a gap here. Now, I'm not a paleontologist, so I mean, I'm not a zoologist either. I don't know everything about all the animals that are alive today, and I certainly don't know everything about all the animals that are extinct. But most of those holes are filled in very readily by extinct forms that we are aware of. But I think that the thing that you're probably not grasping, because you want to know, how does this form, right? How does an organism get this appendage, right? So
to begin with,
how does embryonic development work mechanistically on the molecular level? Do you know anything about embryonic development?
You mean like the development of an embryo that already posits a population exists?
Sure.
So what you're saying is, do I understand when a male impregnates a female and then there's conception, and that's that?
I didn't say humans, right?
Okay.
I already told you there's a lot of animals that can reproduce asexually.
But an embryo assumes there's a population that has the embryo, right?
You want to know about a population that has that we get a new, but don't show a human embryo. I mean, that's fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you want to know about how a new feature evolves, right? You're fixating on the penis.
Well, hold on a second. This is why I wanted to stop you with the embryo. Hold on, let me just ask you. Is it a clarifying question? Hold on. The embryo that you're pointing to, because it comes from a previous population, I assume the previous population that the embryo comes from already has these appendages, right?
No, I'm look, you want to know about how new things form, right? So I'm asking you if you know anything about how anything of the morphology of an organism arises at all.
Well,
what do you know about that process?
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're going to point to an embryo, I would say that the category you're pointing to assumes that there's a population that has parts that already can produce the embryo.
There is a population of organisms.
How does the first
feature forms? I'm asking if you know anything about embryonic development, which is where new mutations can express themselves as new functionality, new structures, new things. Do you know anything about that process?
Well, no, I would disagree with that statement.
What do you mean you disagree with that?
Here, I'll tell you how, if you let me talk. So during the process of an embryo growing, it's already pre-coded to grow, if it's properly growing, the things that come from the previous thing. So for instance,
and if when changes,
hold on a second. Just at the individual level, we're talking now. An embryo is an individual, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So during the process of an embryo growing, right, if you watch it grow, it starts to develop new appendages that's consistent with what it's instructed to do.
Yeah.
That's not that's not the same question as whether or not
it is the same question. You just don't understand that because you don't know.
You're not letting me. Yeah, but you're telling me what I don't know doesn't actually solve this problem, dude. So you're not engaging with you're not actually engaging with the question, because I'm asking you.
I think he is.
Hold on.
Does anyone have any idea what JimBoob is trying to say?
No, and he's kind of stupid. I guess I shouldn't say that. And
he's stupid. No, definitely. Let's call
embryonic
it
development is according to some code. I mean, even if it's an appendage that wasn't there before, the code says to do this. So I don't even understand the basis of his question.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going with it, but we'll see. We'll give this a few more minutes. Maybe we'll get back to some stupid shit. Well, this is stupid shit, but
JimBoob will argue anything.
He's just
he's take a direction, he'll argue the other way.
I mean,
devil's
he
advocate
really
on steroids or whatever you want to call it.
He really is not, his mind and the training that he has experienced in his life, he is not up to these conversations yet. He's shooting his mouth off all
whatever
over the
gets
place.
the most super chats or the most views, that's what he runs with. He's like Trump or anybody that puts their finger into the wind, and that's the way they go.
Yeah. Oh, do you guys ever run debates on the statistical impossibilities of evolution? No, you know why? You know why? Because that is a really ridiculous approach. The statistical impossibilities of evolution. There are no we don't know enough about the probabilities to make any kind of an estimate as to what is statistically impossible when it comes to historical evolution.
Probabilities is one of our favorite creationist arguments.
It is, yeah, it is.
They're all different.
Because you could do a back of the envelope calculation. Like I can do a back of the envelope calculation on what is the probability that I stepped out of bed this morning on my left foot or my right foot. And I can say 50%. Okay, so 50%. What is the probability that I tripped over the cat? Maybe 10%. Okay, so, but I tripped over the cat. So now we have 5% probability that I tripped over the cat. Okay, but I did trip over the cat. And then I get up and I make my coffee and I'm kind of discombobulated. I got that from Trump, the discombobulator. Anyway, and then I spill my coffee. What is the probability that I spill my coffee? I do that 1 out of 100 cups. So it's 1%. So now we're down to we're down to 0.5%. No, we're down to 0.05% probability that what happened to me this morning actually happened, right? So that's back of the envelope calculations. Now, if we go on and we calculate every single thing that happened to me today, and we assign a probability to it, the probability that I am here right now talking to you is so close to 0, it's astronomically impossible that I'm really here. So I'm not here, so I'm going to fucking hang up right now and stop the stream. That is the probability idea. Does anybody... We all get that, right? You get that? That's how they do it?
You can make a probability for anything and make it as huge as you want.
Also, just to point out to Jim, whatever his name is, evolution is not a random process.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not. You know, if you even slightly think about it, there are 2 parts to it, and the second part isn't random, and that means that the whole process is not random.
Thinks if there's one thing wrong with you, nothing will work. And evolution covers for those things there. You know, you may be a little slower, you may be a little leaning one way or another, but evolution compensates for it so that you survive. They have an end game in mind all the time. It's not survival.
Okay, so have you ever looked at the work of Professor Douglas Axe on the odds of functional proteins forming at random? Yes, I looked at his 2005 paper, and where he came up with the bullshit estimate that was ripped apart by anybody who ever read that paper. And in fact, Douglas Axe quickly quit his professional career after that because he got laughed out of academia. And he produced a paper about 5 years before that showing that there was a 1 in 4 chance that a mutation would create a functional enzyme. But nobody ever talks about that paper. So yes, I have looked at Douglas Axe and I have all of his stuff and I have laughed at him for a long time. So anyway, just want to get that out of the way. Have you ever looked at Douglas Axe? Yeah, fuck. It's like, oh, we got this gotcha guy, you know? Anyway, go on with PP.
I'm asking you, you're saying that the appendages that develop are due to the genome, the instructions in the genome, right?
It's instructed by what it comes from.
Instructions in the genome are different. If they change, if there are mutations, what then? Could the morphology that results also change?
No. Well, sometimes it changes, but if you're referring to an animal not properly forming something, right? Are you including that as a mutation?
New functionality, new morphology.
Okay, so you're saying at the individual level, you're observing a in this case, an individual embryo in its growth developing a brand new functional appendage.
Yeah, just not not like
Dave,
from absolutely nothing to something that exists.
So did you figure out what he's trying to say?
Yeah, could you just put up my latest comment for me, please?
Where are you?
Just quickly.
Where are you?
I've just put it at the bottom now. No, not that one. There we go. Sexual dimorphism arose because 1. Gametes became unequal. 2. Productive roles diverged. 3. Sexual selection amplified the differences. And 4. Ecology and survival refined them.
Yep. There you go.
There you go.
But
straight out of Google.
Yeah, but if you were to talk about the real story, it would take enough pieces of paper that we would reach the top of Mount Everest before we actually told you what the real story was that happened. And that's just, that is how biology is. It's a very complicated field. And you've got to figure what you creationists need to do is figure out what couldn't happen, like couldn't happen at all, and give us the actual step-by-step reasons why it couldn't happen. What you never do is give us the step-by-step reasons. You just say, oh, that couldn't happen because blah, I don't think it could. It's like,
here's
blah,
one thing
blah,
that can't happen. Creationists cannot understand evolutionary theory.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, because they refuse to.
Especially creationists like JimBoob.
Yeah.
And just giving some Professor Axe, whoever that is, that this is just a fallacy because you're not saying why he thought that. If you could just tell us, just go in to the relevant book that you're referring to and just paste and copy into the chat why he thinks that. That would be lovely. At least that would be something that we could answer, right? But,
well, I've got the paper in my library, and what Doug Axe did and other groups, they took an enzyme, a very, very specific enzyme that had a very specific function. And they figured out, okay, that there were 150 amino acids, right?
Oh,
and they mutated about 12 of them. And they found out that out of those the amino acids that they were mutating, that very few of those created a functional protein, right? In other words, they found the area of the protein that was highly conserved, and then they mutated it, and then they said, oh, look at that, mutations don't work. And that is just such bullshit, because that isn't how evolution works. And Doug Axe kind of like, he did a lot of really dodgy calculations. There's a, what is it called? What is that website that does really good evolution? Sandwalk. Okay. Sandwalk tears Douglas Axe's paper apart, and a number of other people have. The experiment that he did was so slanted that it couldn't possibly say anything about mutation in general in proteins. Anyway, but yeah, I know the paper, and this guy probably has not read the paper. He just heard this on a creationist site. Prove me wrong, dude. Anyway.
What's his name again? Something Axe.
Douglas Axe. Yeah, he wrote some papers. Let's say he quit writing papers about 20 years ago because he kind of got tossed out of academia because he just wasn't meeting the university standards. And it wasn't because he was a creationist, as creationists will tell you. It was because the guy just wasn't producing any decent work. And he went to work for Creation something International or something.
Okay, so he was a biologist, a molecular biologist at Biola University.
Biola, yeah, there you go.
And best known for his work promoting intelligent design.
Yep.
And his Discovery Institute was his funder.
Yeah, that's where he works now?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's just, writing books and doing talks on creationism, like, making money as, God, I'll do this for him for $180,000 a year. I have some really good ideas for these creationists where we could really make evolution look really dumb. And I can do it really well. So please, $180,000 a year, and you got me. I'm going to convert. I'll find Jesus. I'll find Jesus when I get my first paycheck.
McClellan Foundation was some of his funding came from that. Don't know what that is.
I don't know. I think he was working for Oxford or something for a while, but they tossed him. So anyway, he didn't get renewed for some reason. So okay, let's hear some more. Say JimBoob can. So I think what JimBoob is saying is that okay, so the embryo was going to produce X, or going to produce, you know, this certain kind of penis, and then the embryo mutated, and then it produced another kind. I think that's what he's saying, and he's confused because if it was going to produce the first kind, then how did it produce the second kind? Does that explain it? Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to look into JimBoob's head, because when you do, you get this like really, you get nauseated and you get like you're on a roller coaster. You know, you don't want to look too deeply into this dude's eyes because it will fuck you up.
Well, I mean, JimBoob is a knockoff Jay Dyer, isn't he? Really, and by knockoff,
he is.
I mean inferior. And Jay Dyer isn't a very good philosopher, right? Let alone, and so if you think he's not, and he's the guy that JimBoob gets his philosophy from, you can see is his big problems, right? These people think that philosophy, Jay Dyer is included in this, but these people think philosophy is going to give you a definitive answer. I don't know. I mean, I'm at a loss to think how something which is inherently circular is going to give you a definitive answer, right? Unless you're just saying that's how it's defined.
Yeah, philosophy has been going back and forth for thousands of years and hasn't come up with a goddamn thing.
Oh no, I mean it's come up with plenty of things.
Well, it's come up with a lot of complexity.
As soon as it comes up with something, that just becomes science, right? So every time it comes up with something, it's just going to move, right? It came up with physics, it came up with like chemistry, it came up with biology, it came up with all of these things, but then they just stopped being philosophy and started being natural sciences. So I'm all for praise for philosophy. Don't get me wrong. But if you are talking philosophy in the modern sense, you're not coming up with something new. You're just, trying to speculate, metaphysically speculating over what the possibilities could be. And then once one of them is empirically demonstrated, it just becomes a science.
Well, there's a couple of kinds of metaphysics. Now, the kind of metaphysics that Jay Dyer subscribes to is if you imagine he's just got out of the shop working on his V8, fixing his carburetor, and he has to sit down and take a dump, and he sits on the toilet and he reaches over to get some toilet paper, but there ain't any toilet paper, but there's a book, and the cover of the book is metaphysics, and he says, "Oh my God, I found it." And then he goes and creates a YouTube channel and starts talking about metaphysics. That is Jay Dyer's metaphysics. He is the most naive metaphysician I have ever listened to, along with all the other presuppositions. Real metaphysics is not like that at all. It's very different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are various types, right? And you can use, different types of argument. The transcendental arguments are just not, shall we say, not the best types of logic to be using.
Yeah, they misunderstand the transcendental argument.
Yeah, I mean, and unless you're very, very careful with how you're wording things, right? And I mean, I don't even think you can use a deductive argument as a transcendental argument. I think you have to use it as an abductive argument, which is an argument to the best explanation, and that doesn't prove it. It doesn't give you a necessary conclusion. So it doesn't do what he thinks it does anyway, the way Jay Dyer uses it, and JimBoob tries to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's they use it to they use it to blatantly prove their metaphysical proposition, which is God did it, and it just doesn't work that way. The transcendental argument is about it's about an epistemological prison that we're in, where you can never basically fully grasp noumena, right? So we're in this epistemological prison.
Without assuming axioms. I mean, mathematics assumes axioms, and from that you can prove a lot of things. But you have to make those assumptions first, and those assumptions are going to be circular. So,
but our entire reality depends on this business of being in space time and having separation and having laws of identity and certain kinds of logic. We could not exist in any other way, and that is a transcendental argument that we're stuck in that epistemological prison of space-time thinking. And that's all that Kant was saying. He wasn't saying that, that therefore God has to happen. That's bullshit. That's the bullshit part of what they do. So anyway, okay, enough of that.
There's not too much more of JimBoob. I think he drops out fairly soon, so we can go through this for a little while.
That is the product of millions and millions of years. We're talking about a new feature that is then selected for and enhanced and different, complexifies over time.
Right? Okay, so in the individual level, what's an example of an appendage or some mutation that in the process of the embryo are actually growing, it actually produces a functional advantageous appendage?
What the fuck?
Webbed feet? I don't know.
Webbed feet? Is that wait, hold is that a dysfunction or a function?
Yeah, so JimBoob is like stuck on this idea that it has to happen in one generation. And it is possible for webbed feet to happen in one generation, but it is not possible for webbed feet across the entire species to happen in one generation, right? There has to be some time for it to fix. But if an animal popped up with webbed feet in a very small population, just suddenly grew webs in its feet and it could swim better and get around better, and as a result, it was the one that produced more children, then those children produced children, and eventually the whole population would drift to web. So that could happen very rapidly because basically to get webs between your fingers is a very easy. I think it's like a single nucleotide mutation that would cause webbing to happen between your fingers. So anyway,
but I mean, he's pushing it to one generation is what it is.
Well, he thinks everything has to happen instantly.
Yeah, presumably, like lungfish had webbed fingers, right?
Yeah.
Quote. Right. So I think, when we came on land, mammals, the state of a mammal's appendages would have been webbed. So that means that the DNA was already there, right? The plan was already in the DNA to have webbed fingers. So it's not a question of developing them. It's a question of switching it back on again.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just a process of maybe other DNA coming forward, right? And that's
but you left yourself open to their next argument, which is, then the information was already there. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, presumably. I mean, let's get it the right way around first. But I'd also say that I think this demonstrates JimBoob's problem, shall we say, is that he can't perceive of using this language without the axiological component of the purpose-driven component.
Yeah.
Right. And everything he views this through is through this deductive kind of arguments of purpose, right? Because that's how language, our human language, is evolved. Right? We see agency there because it's a survival mechanism. Right?
We've been ignoring our chat. Scott, are you watching chat?
I am making snarky comments all along the way.
Thank you so much. I'm entertained by them always.
Yeah, you started out with webbed hands, webbed fingers, basically, and apoptosis killed the tissue between your fingers, and that can pretty easily be modified so that happens or it doesn't happen. But anyway, okay.
If you live in the water, it's a function.
Wait. When we have webbed feet,
it'd be dysfunction. That's why.
Wait. That's arbitrary. Hold on. No, that's totally. Wait a second. That's post hoc. So, like, if someone, hold on. If a population of humans, for whatever reason, were born with webbed feet, how would you determine that was an advantage or a disadvantage?
Oh, fuck.
By if it is an advantage or a disadvantage, nature decides.
Right. If it's,
that's
human nature.
Hold on, that doesn't. Hold on a second.
That's an advantage.
The survival of
Did somebody say something?
No, I think
an
they were all
organism
saying-
is more likely to reproduce, and that
I was saying.
Oh, beg your pardon.
You were
Scott.
saying something?
I was saying if you have sex more and eat more, then that's an advantage.
Yeah.
If it, on the average, for the population, because you got to think in terms of population. It's not just individuals. JimBoob.
He thinks somebody has to decide that it's an advantage.
Yeah.
And like,
Again,
okay,
purpose. You can only look at it top down. You can only look at it top down. And this was Fodor's argument against evolution, right?
Yeah.
This is how indoctrinated he is, right? In his philosophical outtake, because Fodor was like, this is Fodor's whole thing, right? Everything is a purpose. That when we say that the heart does such and such a thing, that's because it was designed to do that, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get over the habit. This is the only words we have to describe it, right?
Yeah.
We could describe it in terms of like the molecules and what each molecule is doing or each muscle is doing, right?
But everybody
and that
would
be
fall asleep.
And it would take 5 times it's the thing. Yeah, you can explain when you see you can explain boiling water, right, by describing how the molecules move. The water molecules are moving it below a heated source, or you can say I'm making a cup of tea, right?
That's right.
Which is simpler to say, right? Which is which one are we trying to grasp at? Well, I tell you, if you're looking at evolution, it's easier just to say, well, the heart pumps blood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When I used to talk about the molecules with my dad, he used to slap me in the head. So like, shut the fuck up, kid.
Yeah.
Never bought it. Let's see. I'm in charge, right? Didn't Dave say I'm in charge? I'm in charge.
Did.
Okay. So when you guys want to pause, we used to have on Saturday night at the Atheist, we used to say foreskin, and then we pause.
Okay. Can I say nub?
Nub. Yeah, let's say nub from now on. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah, because some people were unhappy with the foreskin thing. So, yeah, nub is better.
Yeah.
That way we'll get all around approval from everybody in chat. Good.
I think so.
Y'all probably said it this way already, but in some way. But I just want to point out that JimBoob is saying, no, that's post hoc. That's post hoc. But nature doesn't really care if we recognize how there could be a selective advantage to a particular function. Nature doesn't care. If we never figure it out, it's still going to happen. That we can identify it is fine. It's great that we can see advantage to that. You can also probably infer selective advantages if you do statistical studies of functions versus environments.
If the historian starts telling you about the conditions that led to the revolution in the 1700s, you could say, oh, that's post hoc. It's like, yeah, we're trying to figure out what happened a while ago. It's like, of course it's post hoc, you asshole. He's an asshole.
He's an asshole. I mean, again, anytime I hear somebody shouting out a fallacy without explaining exactly why they think it's a fallacy or what part of it was a fallacy, then I just go, yeah, all right, what a dick. Okay.
Yeah. But we gotta give him credit. His little tiny mind trying to get these concepts in there. It's gotta hurt, right? You gotta admit it's gotta hurt. We could feel sorry for him. So
yeah, like I say, that I understand that it's difficult because you've got to understand what the limitations of language are, and he's probably not a philosopher of language. He's probably never heard of Wittgenstein. And then B, you've got to understand the difference between the top-down explanation, right, and the bottom-up explanation.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what you've got to do. Unless you can understand what a bottom-up explanation is, you have no chance of understanding the scientific method.
Yeah.
Or the historical method, which is why they often get that wrong as well.
History from inference. It's something we do all the time. We do every day of our lives. We do history from inference, basically.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. That didn't answer the
JimBoob.
You guys are piling on. You guys are piling on.
I know, but you're gonna let Dave is all I'm saying. I'm not trying to even speak on this. I want to allow Dave to be able to communicate too, because I know you're trying to get your point across. Dave's trying to get his point across. Let's just allow both of you guys, but don't. That's fine. Let's let it go both ways.
I didn't interrupt. It was Neil. So if it's the case that when I ask the question, I'm asking a methodological question, which is what methodology would you use to determine something like webbed feet within humans happened at the population level, whether or not that'd be an advantage or not? And your answer was we would look to see if it's an advantage.
Because nobody is determining anything. It's called natural selection. Mutations that confer a survival advantage are selected for. It's statistical dynamics. Nobody is deciding anything. If you don't understand that, you don't understand literally the first thing about evolutionary biology. This is what Darwinism explained in the late 19th century.
Okay, so the answer, Dave, then is the answer clearly, if you were to just be really concise about it, is when I ask if a population of humans today suddenly, spontaneously, were all born, a huge population was born with webbed feet, and I asked, how would we determine whether or not that's advantageous or not? You would just simply say, we wouldn't know. We just don't know.
So there's like 18 things wrong with even the situation that you're talking about. Number one, a population doesn't spontaneously develop a new thing. It's an individual.
I said if.
Okay, so if magic, that has fucking nothing to do with science, what's my response to that?
Wait, Dave, this is
a dumb question. You're too dumb to have this conversation, Dave. I'm sorry.
Dave, this makes it even worse for you, by the way.
No, it doesn't, because you are not having this
Let me
conversation.
talk. Neil, let me talk.
You said
I am letting you
Let
talk.
me reply to it, you fucking tool. You said if a population magically has webbed feet.
Yay, Professor Dave.
Number two, humans are no longer participating in natural selection in the way that the rest of the animal kingdom is.
How did you know that?
Because we don't die if you're weak, right? If you're a weak person or a dumb person, society, there's a safety net in place so that we
How would you know?
If you're,
wait.
What do you mean?
Well, we know because
How would you know?
Not dead.
How would you know?
What's your pulse?
Because even JimBoob can get a girlfriend.
Like, somebody would have killed JimBoob already if, that was the case. He would have died a long time ago. So anyway, we have a safety net for people like him.
How do I know the most basic things that are self-evident? What the fuck are you talking about?
Self-evident now? Okay,
Yes.
hold on a second.
Do we
let's go.
If there is a weak person,
Wow.
do we just let them die? Do we let a lion eat them and they die? Is that how society works?
Depends where you are.
It
So
depends where you are. Where is a society?
Exactly. It depends on your environment. Well done,
Right.
JimBoob.
But I want to remind everybody that JimBoob's the kind of people that think that if basically men didn't give women rights, that women wouldn't have rights because men are bigger. That's his whole theory of why women have rights.
Anytime we want to, we can, like, even if the women picked up rifles to protect themselves, we could just take them from them.
Yeah. The problem is that all men have mothers, sisters, and daughters, and that kind of shoots his theory in the ass. Because
I don't understand why he's even pursuing that whole line of questioning. Okay, so everybody developed webbed feet all over the world for some reason.
Yeah.
If you're in the desert, you're probably gonna, have a lot of troubles with your feet. Probably infections and stuff, because that's just more surface area to get infected or whatever. And it depends on how much webbing. But if you're not near the water and don't depend on the water for like fish or sea plants and stuff to live on, then that's going to be a big advantage. But if you're in the desert or land or even in forested areas, it's not going to be an advantage. And in fact, it may be a disadvantage. So it's obvious. I mean, this is so intuitive that he's just being intentionally obstinate.
If we keep burning coal, it's going to be an advantage to have webbed feet.
Well, true.
There you go.
True.
Also, it's rumored that Michael Phelps had webbed fingers. But there's a reason, isn't there? There's a reason why people who go diving a lot, right? Especially, I don't know, like pearl divers or whatever. They use flippers.
Yeah.
Why do they use flippers?
Yeah.
Because it's an advantage when diving.
But there is one population where they're developing the ability to hold their breath longer. Basically,
yeah, absolutely.
And some group that dives for something, I'm not sure, it's pearls or whatever. But
anyway. the same thing with living at altitude. All right. They now know that there's a certain rituals that they found out in some of these tribes that live high in mountains, right? Papua New Guinea and whatever, is that when they want to reproduce, they come down, right, to a reasonable level, and they have these special houses that they build to reproduce in. And they have no idea why. Yeah, because you can't get. It's very difficult to get a woman pregnant at high altitude.
Really, I didn't know that. Wow.
And they found this out just through generations. So they started doing that. And then, of course, they live at high altitude. And because they live at high altitude, when they come down to sea level, their lungs can make use of the extra oxygen. And that's why Ethiopian runners, right, like absolutely dominated long distance running for generations through the Olympics, you know. I mean, literally the best 50 runners in the world were Ethiopian at one point. Why? Because they live at high altitude. So they practice at high altitude. And when they come down to sea level for the Olympics, they dominate.
So yeah, they really live at high altitude, and they really want to get out of Ethiopia.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful place, Ethiopia. It really is a beautiful country.
I mean, it's pretty simple to understand how that would evolve. Basically, the higher lung capacity at higher altitudes. When, you know, there are villages basically all the way up the mountain, okay? And somebody who lives in a high altitude has 6 children. 3 of those children cannot tolerate the low oxygen levels. So they move to lower levels and they have children down there. And the 3 children that have higher lung capacity stay at that high altitude, and they have more children and change the population of those villages. And that is exactly how evolution happens in very, very small steps. We got a comment here. I'm incurably biased toward theism, but I'm not strictly opposed to evolution. I'm going to look into this, though. I need to read the Miller experiment. No, don't just read the Miller experiment. Read the modern experiments that have verified the Miller experiment in silicon glass. There's a whole lot more to the Miller experiment than what's been written about it. Don't start with these simple ideas. Go and get some basic textbooks and start there, and look into evolution and try to understand it from our side, from the internal critique of evolution. Don't go and look at these popular memes like the Miller-Urey experiment. Go further than that. Anyway. Okay. What now? Oh, Robin Hood. Damn, you should have called it out early. Prophet Mike predicted. Oh, wait a minute. Prophet Mike. Cowboy hats at the Kid Rock event. You should have predicted Dave calling JimBoob names.
Of course he's going to say he's stupid. That's why we like Dave so much, because he just sees it and calls it out.
I want to be more like Dave when I grow up. I really, anyway. The video he did today, he just lays into them like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's just horrible. It's unbelievable. I've linked it in my description. Please, everybody, go watch it. So, but Professor Dave complained about something in the video in the beginning. These reaction things he does to idiots like JimBoob and Dyer get 250,000 views, and then he does a really good video and it gets like 2.5K views. And he's asked people to watch his more educational videos because he does a wonderful job of going through phylogeny and just a whole bunch of other topics. Organic chemistry, but that one's a little heavy. But the stuff he does on phylogeny is great, and you should watch all of his good videos. But I feel sorry for him. He spends 3 weeks on a good video, gets 2,500 views, spends 1 day on this piece of shit video calling JimBoob an idiot, and he'll get 250,000. Anyway, we lament. We're going forward.
Where is the civil?
Some people in China actually let people who got hit by cars just die in the street because it's a utility issue. So, but regardless of that, Dave,
is that the majority
Neil,
of people?
Shut the fuck up.
No, but that
Neil.
matters, though. That matters. You're just
no, it doesn't.
to one random
it doesn't
thing.
matter.
Yeah,
let's talk about web feed again. Let's go back to the individual level. if
Yeah,
an
but not
individual,
humans, not humans.
Why
We're
not?
talking about other animals, because
Okay.
we are not participating in natural selection. You fucking idiots. We're talking
Wait.
about, let's go all the way back to the
hold on a
evolution of
second.
tetrapods,
Hold on a second.
right?
There are
Webbing
animals.
versus not webbing.
Hold on. Do we care for animals?
Oh my God. Oh no.
Do you want to talk about evolution or
Oh
not?
my God,
What are you trying
dude!
to
I'm
do?
showing a
Do we care
contradiction in
about
your view.
animals? What do you mean? Do we
Dude,
care about
yeah,
animals?
yeah. No. Do we
What does that mean?
actively? Let me answer the question. Ask the question.
Okay, so JimBoob is saying because, okay, Professor Dave is saying that animals evolve based on their environment, and that, well, humans have a different environment where, anyway, so he's saying, oh, what is he saying?
Who
So
knows?
he's bringing up the fact that we take care of dogs and cats as being a contradiction to what Professor Dave is trying to tell him about the evolution of species without intelligent man basically saving the weak, that sort of thing. So that's what's going on.
It's a nonsense anyway. I mean, no, clearly, you know.
But he thinks he's got something. You could.
I know, but if you knew anything about it, the domestication of dogs, right, was like one of the earliest kinds of domestication. Number one, and rightly so, because it really improves our hunting ability to have a dog with us, right? That's trained.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's an evolutionary advantage to domesticating dogs, just like every other species we've domesticated, including plants.
Yeah.
Right. And if that doesn't show you why evolution is true, right, then you just don't understand the first thing about, how the human species has really profited and become the apex predator.
Yeah. I was Dr. Chris Thompson turned me onto a book called Evolution of the Brain, which is pretty cool. Someday we'll talk about that.
Yeah, stoned ape theory. I know where you're going with that. I'm joking.
Okay. Go ahead.
If you said humans are no longer participating in natural selection because we have all this advanced technology to take care of us, we also take care of animals.
So
Yeah,
that
okay, so let's also not talk about cattle. Let's talk about
conservation. Nope, no. Hold on. Now you're in a weak spot, okay? Because
if you wanted to talk about the evolution of various morphological features of animals, this evolution took place hundreds of millions of years ago. If you want to talk about that, the thing that you pretended you wanted to learn about, let's talk about that. Let's not talk about human society. What do you want to talk about?
I'm trying to get it out.
Talk about where penises
keep interrupting.
come from.
Okay, you're spurging now. Okay, so if it's the case,
JimBoob thinks he has him over. He's got him over a barrel now. That's what JimBoob thinks. Because the real problem with JimBoob is not that just that he's uneducated; it's that he doesn't know how to reason, and so he's going to stick with this bullshit because he thinks he found a contradiction.
Well, he doesn't know what a contradiction is, then, does he?
He doesn't know what it is. No, he doesn't.
He thinks he's found an incoherence between two ideas, not a contradiction.
Yeah. And he's going to double down now until he walks off the stage. So, anyway,
that you arbitrarily, Neil, shut up, dude.
You're spurging, bro. Look at you.
I'm trying. You can't even see me.
Well, I can hear you. I can hear you,
dude. You guys are interrupting. This is crazy. So if it's the case that you determine that natural selection is no longer happening at some level with humans, but it is with other animals, right? I'm asking you. You made that claim, right?
The point is also valid for livestock. So what? Let's talk about wild animals.
Whoa.
In other words, all life prior to modern human civilization.
Wait a second.
Just keep saying "wait a second" and cutting him off. But if he did that to you, you'd freak out.
Shut up.
Let him finish his point.
You shut up, dude. You're saying nothing.
Let JimBoob answer your questions before you stop him.
Wow.
Hold on, JimBoob. Hold on.
Okay, Neil.
Let me just say something real quick.
Okay, Neil.
You keep asking a question, and then as soon as he starts to answer it, you go, "Hold on a second, wait a minute. But what about this?" He never gets to finish the answer to your question.
I apologize.
Right.
You want to learn how new morphology arises.
He's growing.
So I'm talking about mutations and embryonic development. Would you like to have that conversation, or do you want to keep shitting your pants about what modern humans do?
The reason I'm asking the question about the selective process, if you're saying that having webbed feet as a mutation that happens in the embryo stage for an individual, if that thing produces webbed feet, the question I'm going to ask you, regardless if it's human or not, is
I just want, okay, he says a mutation that happens in the embryo stage.
Embryonic. Yeah.
That is just a really dumb thing to say, okay, and an ignorant thing to say. He doesn't quite understand the whole thing with mutations. So
how would you determine it's an advantage or a mutation that's a disadvantage? How would you determine that?
If it lives longer, if it helps it survive.
Wait, how would you determine that
it swims faster?
You're right, Simos. He's doing this from the he cannot drop the teleological thinking.
Yeah,
he thinks
it's got to be
purpose-driven. Yeah, it's not going to survive unless it's somebody determines that it's an advantage. I mean, what the fuck?
Okay, so if humans could swim faster, it doesn't apply.
Stop talking about humans. Stop talking about humans.
Okay. So
we're talking about animals in general.
So if one embryo, if one embryo, right? Isn't this more of a Lamarckian view, though? Isn't that something you reject?
It's not.
Okay, so if an embryo
just buzzwords
hatches a webbed feet and otherwise its previous population didn't have webbed feet, you would determine whether or not that was selected for if it swam faster.
If it confers a survival advantage, the question will always be, if it confers a survival advantage, then it is more likely to stay alive and therefore more likely to reproduce and therefore more likely to pass on that genome to offspring. This is evolutionary biology 101 that you should have learned in middle school. And if you want me to repeat it over and over and over again, I will, but the answer is never going to change.
Okay, so let's just carry the story out. So this individual has webbed feet and it helps it swim. And therefore it helped it live longer because it swam faster.
Yep.
Okay. And then it has children, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what part of the process transfers that web foot mutation to its offspring based on selection?
Holy
what do you mean? What
the fuck? It's what the fuck did he just?
I love it.
Process.
I love it.
Do you understand how reproduction works? You understand that the offspring gets its genome from the parents, right?
Yeah, but if it was random, it doesn't verify. It doesn't actually.
The initial mutation was random.
Hold on a second.
Oh, if it was random, it doesn't. Okay.
Is it guaranteed that the offspring will get the webbed feet?
Oh
no,
my God.
Not guaranteed. In sexual reproduction, you have two parents, and you get a chromosome from each.
Another middle school concept.
Each chromosome. You have it's another middle school question.
No.
I mean,
it's a good question because
on meiosis and stuff.
Okay, but now you have this view that, like, if something happens at the individual level, like webbed feet, and in that lifetime it survived and it did better, it could just be a happy accident that time.
Yes,
but what increases the chances of it passing that same web foot down? Is there any?
Holy shit! He doesn't understand the very simplest thing about genetics. The very simplest thing.
It's a population thing. Is that what he's missing?
No, he's
the mutation has to get into the germline. You know, that line of cells which go into your sperm and the egg.
Okay, so basically you have a zygote, right? A fertilized egg, okay? And it develops and it's got a genome like everybody else's genome that would not create webbed feet. And then mom snorts 6 lines of cocaine during pregnancy and the child ends up with webbed feet. Okay, that child that has kids is not going to pass that trait on to any children. But if that mutation happens in the zygote, then it's going to get passed on. And he doesn't understand the difference between those two scenarios. That's why he kept saying, what if something randomly happens in the embryo? Because he doesn't understand the simplest things about genetics and embryology. And he's having a talk with Professor Dave. It just doesn't get any better than this, guys. This is just so. And this guy, he talks like he fucking knows it all. I mean,
anything that increases that chances, or no?
No, not in terms of the randomness of which chromosome from which parent goes into the offspring. No, it's chance.
Okay, so it's just chance.
Which chromosome?
Let me.
Which parent?
Oh my gosh, Neil.
Can I attempt to just add some nuance here? If I'm understanding this right, if it has a better survival chance because it can swim faster, it probably has a better chance to mate because it can get out and find a mate. So it might have a better chance of producing.
Yeah. Also, most animals reproduce more than one time, right? There are animals that produce thousands of progeny.
Right.
Wait, why would swimming faster enhance the likelihood of finding a mate, Neil?
You really can't imagine that? You can't think of why that would be.
I'm asking you.
Because it can get around it. You can get around it, find more mates easier.
If it's dead, it can't mate.
If it can't move around it, its legs.
So Robin Hood got it here. He's confused because his kids don't look like him.
Yeah.
They look like the mailman. Yeah.
It's not going to find a mate. If it can swim fast, it's going to find a mate.
Wait. What if the thing that's not swimming has closer proximity to the
Oh my
females?
God! What
It
if?
got lucky. That's a lucky one. It got lucky. But
It sounds like it's not just post hoc. Like you're
There's
just
nothing
imagining.
post hoc. If it survives for longer, it has a better chance of reproducing and will reproduce more.
Okay, so I want to get this, and I don't want to keep you too long because you were on your way out, Dave. I appreciate the time.
Yeah.
But if everything is by chance and ultimately accidental, but you're saying the selection process is not accidental. You're saying that things produce from random mutation by chance. It might be the case that it gets passed down. Lucky that thing, right?
Yes. Mutation is random. Natural selection is not.
Okay, so then would you agree that from your perspective that the brain was a process of random mutations produced by random mutations?
Brains in general and every other organ and every other aspect of all life ever. Yes.
Okay, so then, and it wasn't developed for any purpose, right?
Right.
No, not any inherent purpose, but it serves, it is useful, right? Animals with brains have processing ability, and then especially humans, we have this huge frontal lobe that is capable of all kinds of complex.
I understand, but you would say that your brain has no real
JimBoob's only going to be here for a couple more minutes, it looks like. So
purpose, right?
It has no inherent purpose. I use it for the purpose of thinking.
Okay, but it's not made for the purpose of thinking.
There is no God that on purpose made things with the purpose that
I didn't say God. No, God doesn't exist in this hypothetical.
Okay.
I just want you to understand from your view.
Then you would agree that nothing would have any kind of inherent purpose from a higher power. If it's all chance, then there's no inherent purpose to anything other than what proliferates due to conferring a survival advantage.
And so why would I listen to sounds coming from a purposeless brain?
Because I'm right.
Okay. Well, thanks for the conversation then.
Happy to do it. Hope you learned.
That was great, JimBoob. I enjoyed you coming on. Thanks for jumping on, man.
No problem. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you. Yeah, that was.
Oh God, I hope they have him on more.
No, please. Please.
No. It just
that's like getting a colonoscopy without any kind of anesthesia.
Right.
If you want the colonoscopy, you go back to when we're looking at the J Dyer stuff. I mean, that's going to be even more worse. I mean, at least JimBoob has this thing where he wants to be liked, you know.
So does anybody want to bet that he's on his channel right now talking about how stupid Dave is because he thinks random mutations.
He's taking victory laps and shit like that.
It's because mutations are random. He doesn't think the whole thing is random. That's what Dave thinks, you see. Whereas obviously it's all random. Yeah.
Yeah, because JimBoob always gets on. I'd be really well. I'm going to check it out here. Yep, he's on. We are all the same. He's the case against pluralism. I don't know what that assumptions behind diversity and pluralism. So he's on anyway.
Well, I said he's just doing white supremacy with white Christian nationalism supremacy with black anti-pluralism.
Yeah, he's just such a racist mother fucking piece of shit. I don't know. Just oh my goodness. It just it keeps coming, guys. Oh, what happened here? We gotta get us all back. We're back. How you doing, Dave?
Hanging in there.
Dave is taking. Oh, you are. Okay, good.
I'm just listening.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know where to go here. Let's see. Share screen. Go back to
JimBoob is infuriating, so I try not to comment too much.
Oh my God. Well, he's also a lot of fun when you realize how he's thinking. You're just like, your mouth drops open. You're just like, it's just a fucking facepalm, man. It's unbelievable how he thinks. How in the hell can you become an adult and vote and think like that? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, like I don't, I think with JimBoob, it's very much like it's very Dunning-Kruger, really, isn't it? Let's face it. He thinks he's a very smart man, but he doesn't realize that he's getting himself trapped into circular reasoning, and then he can't find his way out of it. And so he just keeps going round in a circle. He keeps going round in a circle until he goes, I've been here before. I know what the answer to this bit is. And I know what and then he goes round again and goes, well, I know what the answer to this bit is. So I'll just stop here and say I'm right. And I think that that's one of the dangers of getting into this, this belief that deduction is going to give you the correct answer every time, or gives you. And it's not. It is because I think it's because of this thing where they say deduction gives you a necessary conclusion, which it does, if you accept. But the caveat to it is if you think that the premises are true.
Yeah.
Right. And that the problem is, in order to justify, this is my personal conclusion, not something which I've read, so I could be wrong about this. But my personal conclusion is, well, you have to justify those premises. And how do you do that? You have two premises which lead to the conclusion, the necessary conclusion of that premises. Right? And how do you justify those premises? Well, you have to have now 4 premises to justify those two premises, right? To get to the necessary conclusion of those 2 premises. And how do you do that? Well, you have to have 8 premises which lead to... And so it's just an infinite regress of justification. Right, and of course that ends in something that they call Agrippa's trilemma, which is just it's either circular, foundational, or an infinite regress.
Yep.
And if it's foundational, you're just making a presupposition. If it's circular, that's what I'm claiming that all deduction suffers from. And if it's an infinite regress, then you have no justification at bottom. Right, and that's why as atheists, right, we go. Yeah, but at bottom, when we're using deduction, we recognize that we are relying on things that are brute facts. That is, they have no justification. You've got to end it somewhere. It's turtles all the way down is a meaningless statement to make. You know, and the number of times I've heard that I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dyer actually that said it can't be turtles all the way down because there must be a turtle at the bottom. I mean, how fucking ridiculous is that to say when you clearly don't understand what the phrase "turtles all the way down" means, right?
Yeah. Well, couldn't there be an alligator on the bottom?
Well, that as well. But like Arif Ahmed said, he's a philosopher from Cambridge, and he just said, "Yeah, but if you phrase it a different way, right? There is no first moment." In order to have a justification, right? So if you think infinite regress exists, then there is no justification.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just an infinite regress. So just to ask for why is it an infinite regress is a stupid question, right? And that's what William Lane Craig does. Of course, he goes, "We can't have an infinite regress, otherwise we couldn't be here." Can't. Well, the same thing applies to God. Right? If God is eternal, how did he get to the point where he created the universe?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't make any
sense. If you lived outside of space-time, the universe would have always existed anyway. If he lives outside of space-time, right?
If time is part of the universe, then the universe just had no beginning because it was always existent when time existed.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, the whole set of like logical deduction doesn't make any sense at that point. Of course it doesn't, because it's part of this trilemma, right? This is the third option. Okay. Yeah.
I'm debating sharing a sad thing here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to be very vague. I spent a lot of this week in the home of a very close deceased relative. I found out that this person had apparently in its life, in his or her life, gone through a kind of a spiritual searching experience. I don't know if at the end of their life they remained Christian or had given it up or whatever, but there was piles and piles of King James 1611 study Bibles, all sorts of little self-gratulatory Christian slogans like, one thing that was written on the refrigerator on a little marker board was that Christians are like the carbon rods in a nuclear reactor, preventing things from going, out of control. And then he also had, they also had a book by William Lane Craig, that charlatan who wrote, what was the book? I don't have enough faith to be an atheist.
Oh, Frank Turek. Yeah.
Frank Turek, and just something by Stephen Meyer. Talk about a charlatan. It just made me so sad that
he had all that stuff. Really?
Yeah, and this is and I perceive that they went through a searching, in their life, maybe a spiritual hunger. They sought to fulfill it, which is fine, but it had to land on that apologetic, evangelical, fundamentalist garbage, and that was the saddest thing of all.
Yeah, that is sad.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I perceive there are answers, there are quote unquote spiritual pursuits you can go down that can be very fulfilling, or at least, a little exotic, maybe make you think of things in a different way. Like, pop a few Buddhist, what are they called? Koans in your head, KHOAN, these weird statements that just kind of blow your mind. And, there are things you can do as you search, but to land in the mire of evangelicalism, fundamentalism, young earth creationism, all that crap. To me, it's sad. It's just sad.
Yeah, but also, I think I can be compassionate about it as well. I'm sure you can too, Scott. I'm not saying.
Well, I sure understand, the
indoctrination.
Search.
The indoctrination comes back hard, especially when you're actually facing mortality. I remember waiting like just before the coordinator came in for my operation, and I thought, right, this could be my last moment awake,
right.
As I'm walking down and being given, and as I'm lying down and the anaesthetist is going, "Are you ready?" And I just thought to myself, well, I thought to myself that thing that Chris Hitchens said about Voltaire, right? The one, a priest comes in and said, on your deathbed, please repent of your sins and renounce the devil. And Voltaire allegedly, and I think it's mythological, but Voltaire apparently said, "This is no time to start pissing anybody off."
That's pretty good. Excellent. Yeah. Yep.
So,
I was having a moment.
I was comforted by that. Anyway, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was having a moment today. I started working on this paper about naive realism and realism in scientism, and I'm thinking, at some point my heart is just going to stop, and I'm going to be gone, and I'm not going to have any goddamn answers ever, right? Complete.
Oh, yeah.
And then I realized that the whole purpose is that while we're here, while we're buzzing around, like a little hive of bees that our cells are, we are interacting with everybody else, and we're interacting with the world, and we're making changes in the world, and that's what it is. That's what it's all about, and that's it. And that is the most important thing, because when you lose a loved one, when you look back at their lives, there are a couple ways. You can sit around and say, "Oh my God, he died. He isn't going to get to do this and get to do that," or you could look at what he did do in his life and cherish that particular. It's like a crystal that's fully formed when you die. So when you're from the time you're born until the time you die, you're just like this beautiful crystal, and you will always have been. You will always have had that impact on the things around you. And anyway, I had a moment this morning. So I joined this bunch of fucking hippies called Dharma Recovery, and they do meditation, and it's about recovery from addiction. And I kind of like it because I love the interactive meditations. And then it's about the Buddhist Eightfold Path and all that stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because my goal, if I have anything, is to be calm at that moment. Right, that's what I'd like to be. I just like to be calm.
I'd like to be.
And that will give me extra time to think about how much I've enjoyed my life. Yeah. Right, and I go with a smile on my face because I've made the most of some of not all the opportunities, but I've had the opportunities, and in some cases I've made the most of them, and I'm really thankful that I've got that. I've had those experiences, and so when I've said this for years, when I go, I just want to be able to go with the ability to think back of the good times that I've had. And that's it.
Yeah.
I'll be happy. I'll be just dead happy. And I could have died 10 years ago, and I still feel the same way. I've had some really great times. I've had some really amazing moments of bonding and connection with real deep connections with people. I've had some great altruistic moments where I've just instinctively done the right thing by other people. Just not because I needed to, not because it benefited me, just because that's the kind of person that I wanted to be. And in those moments where I was asked if I am that type of person, I've passed, right? And that's given me afterwards great satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right.
You are doing that right now. You're doing that right now.
Okay.
Having a connection right now. I call that dying gracefully. Like my biggest goal in life is to die gracefully. So basically, I don't want to be hanging on, looking to the future, worried about oh God, I'm not going to have any more ham sandwiches, and all that bullshit. I just want to die gracefully. Just look back and be grateful. This extreme gratitude for having been here at all. So.
Well, up there in Minnesota, you just need to make sure you go out on a sled going downhill at 50 miles an hour in the snow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But my only thing there, Scott, and I completely agree, is I just want to be calm. I just don't want to be in a state of stress and panic. Right.
Yeah,
that's all I care about. The rest of it, how it happens. If I accidentally slip off a very high building, right, without meaning to, as long as on the way down I can go, oh yeah, I had quite a good life. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, there's no chance I'm going to survive this, so there you go. But on the way down,
if you do fall off a high building, remember to breathe in and breathe out slowly. Okay, just remember that. That's the important part.
And remember, don't bother waving your arms like JimBoob would. You're not going to suddenly evolve.
Gravity.
You're not going to suddenly involve like webbed fingers and shit and fly down.
He denies gravity, so he won't fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Nerdy says wearing a cowboy hat, riding a bomb on the way down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking A. Did you ever get the backstory of Slim Pickens in that movie? And he was like, he did not want to participate. And I think he came up with that waving his cowboy hat thing or something. It was pretty cool. There's a big backstory to it. He didn't realize what the hell kind of production he was in and all this stuff. It was pretty cool. Anyway,
anybody who doesn't get Nerdy's reference there needs to go watch the movie Dr. Strangelove now.
Oh my God, it's so brilliant. Such a brilliant movie.
Or subtitled "How I Learned to Love the Bomb."
How I Learned to Love the Bomb. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, brilliant. When I was growing up, Peter Sellers was my favorite comedian.
Oh God, his scene when he played that German guy that kept trying to choke himself.
Yeah.
And I guess Peter Sellers
kept getting the Nazi salute, and then he'd tap his arm down and go, stop it.
Yeah, he was like a Nazi or something like that.
Yeah, one of the ones I got from Germany.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many parts did he play? He played like 2 or 3 parts in that movie.
Yeah,
right?
he did. Wasn't it called Operation Paperclip, where they got a bunch of German scientists, Nazi scientists and stuff, and brought them over to the U.S. and had them work for the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, the rocket technology came from Germany.
Yeah.
For NASA. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch the movie, Regios. Definitely watch the movie. You'll love it.
I love George Scott's role where he was obsessing over who has the big board or something like that, the big screens or whatever. And it just was such a perfect satire. Anybody who wants to see perfect satire needs to or parody needs to watch Dr. Strange.
And when Peter Sellers calls the Russian premier and tries to explain that they're gonna bomb him, and he's having a party, and it's like Dimitri.
Yeah.
It's just fucking excellent.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
He is brilliant. He is brilliant. There's a film he went in with like Richard Burton and I can't remember the other guy's actor, but there were 3 of them. And when he was away from the set, he made a tape imitating all of the actors in the film, all of the main actors in the film, just having a conversation. And it's just something that he did at home, you know what I mean, on a tape recorder. And you cannot tell that he's done all 3. I mean,
wow,
it's absolute genius. Yeah, it's absolute genius.
Yeah, something else. Okay, so should we listen to some more of this crazy bullshit, or you guys want to rap, or? Okay.
Well, we've done 2 hours, but we can do a little bit more if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, about another half hour, and then I need to go make dinner for us. So.
How are you, Dave? How are you getting on, Dave?
Doing all right.
Excellent.
Hanging
in.
A
little tired, but I'm still here.
Okay. That's all right. That's my my goal every day is to still be here. So.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you take a nap, and I had a good nap, but feeling tired already. It's like really blows.
Yeah, it really does.
Yep. Oh, here we go. The thing from the movie. Okay. Here we go.
Animals stayed the same for a really long time. And then they made sudden jumps, turning into other animals so fast that they didn't leave any fossils behind.
So we wouldn't find any transitional.
No, we
oh
wouldn't.
My God.
But when Stephen Jay realized
but just stop it there, right? Okay, so fossils. Let's talk about how fossils are preserved. Are they best preserved in water, which has got a lot of oxygen in it, right? Because that's where most of these animals would have evolved, obviously, near the water, having just come out, having not really very good lungs, having still trying to evolve decent lungs, right? And at very rapid rates. Well, by geological standards, I'm sure some of them evolved quite quickly, but geological standards are, many, many lifetimes of a human being, usually 1 million years or so in between, or hundreds of thousands of years, let's say, between each one. So the idea that you can straw man this evolutionary business by saying very quickly, right?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a scientific definition? I wonder very quickly.
Well, it's Paula paleontologist here, so
a paleontologist very quickly, according to the rocks.
Wearing a park uniform or something, or a park ranger uniform for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it. But the other thing is, the rarity of something fossilizing and being preserved is one thing, but the real rarity is in finding that fossil, because that fossil, by its very nature, has to be underneath layers of rock. And if you go and look around in the world, you'll see a lot of surface of rocks, but you won't see all the layers going all the way down. So in all of those layers, there's fossil record that may someday be found, or more likely, some big ass mining company will come and scoop them up and grind them. So I mean, the possibility of finding fossils is pretty rare.
Yeah, what's under your feet? You don't know.
Yeah.
There are a few very stunning examples where mountains have had landslides, right? Like in Canada.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called, but the ones which have all of the trilobites in the shale.
Oh, the something shale, whatever.
Something shale.
Yeah.
And that's basically where half a mountain slid away and then revealed all of the layers within the mountain, right?
It gave us this encyclopedia of fossil records that told us about the Ediacaran, and they're going to complain about the Cambrian later. And the reason is that, we had the Cambrian, but we didn't have the Ediacaran until we found it in Australia and Canada. And then all of a sudden we've got this encyclopedia of fossils, and we're resetting the whole thing. But they go back to Darwin on the Cambrian, right? Like 1880, and that's what they talk about. So anyway.
There were no fossils of evolving animals. He also showed that the fossil record does not prove
fossils of evolving animals. There she goes again. Like, are you going to catch an animal evolving? Like, you're going to see it evolving in the what the fuck is that going to look like? Like, you'll see maybe you'll see a fin on one side, and then you'll see fingers on the other side. You've caught an animal evolving. I don't know what you want. Another bozo.
prove evolution.
Is this the same girl that did those high school things with that guy that Professor Dave has picked on him, and Forrest has basically does them all the time. But is that the same girl? I think it might be. I'm not sure.
I'll have to look at her more directly.
Yeah,
no, I don't think so. I don't think it's the same girl. But.
It kind of looks like her.
When we look at the fossil record, we find that there are many animals that just appear there with no evolutionary fossils leading up to them. In one level of the fossil record, which scientists call the Cambrian level, there are thousands of animals that just seem to appear there with no fossils below them from which they could have evolved.
That's just
Isn't this what some paleontologists called?
Yeah, that's bullshit because of the Ediacaran. And the other thing is that was right at the point where skeletons evolved in bones and bony cartilage, basically. And that would explain a whole lot of things that are missing. And there's a lot of reasons for it. And we figured it out, dude. It's like, get up to date on this shit.
Well, just the Cambrian is at least 50 million, and they're going to say there's no millions. So
yeah. They talk about the Cambrian like it happened in 1,000 years or something like that.
Right.
It's like,
Whoa! Why do they call it an explosion?
It's called an explosion because it seems like all those animals just
because they're idiots.
Exploded into the world without ever gradually evolving from some other kind of animal.
The Cambrian explosion fits perfectly with what the Bible says, doesn't it, Paul?
I've got to say one thing about this. I do find it a little bit frustrating that scientists refuse to understand that that there are people this dumb out there that will take their words, right, when they're using a metaphor, right, to explain something quite complex, right, and they think they're helping by using the metaphor, right, and yet Christians, every time you go, they'll say, well, that's just a metaphor in the Bible. So they understand perfectly well that words don't have to have literal meanings, right? Especially when it comes to contradictions, right? Yeah. Especially when it comes to contradictions in the Bible, then obviously it's a metaphor. But they can't go, the Big Bang is a metaphor, or the Cambrian explosion, that explosion is a metaphor. I mean, it just is dumbfounding.
Yeah, but Moses wrote Genesis before the metaphor had been invented, so that was entirely literal, right? And then he invented the metaphor, and the rest of the Bible was metaphorical. That's what happened.
God made the animals, then they would appear fully formed, suddenly appearing in the fossil record.
And that's
Would they?
exactly what we
How
find in the
Would they?
Citation needed, I feel.
Sorted? Would they be sorted if God created them suddenly? Would they be sorted? No. And then, of course,
expulsion.
It's exactly what we find in the Cambrian explosion, yes.
But punctuated equilibrium doesn't fit with what we find in the Bible, and it's nowhere to be found in the fossil record either.
Exactly, Digger Dag.
Well, so what if I'm not punctiflatingly equilibralizing? I still can be the most incredible,
Hold on.
powerful.
I got to answer the mole. Punctuated equilibrium is still held to by evolutionary scientists today, and it explains why there is a rapid relative increase in certain layers in new forms and new species. So the mole,
relative though, right? That's the
relative,
word there. Yeah. So it's still not overnight. It's still not one generation to the next.
Definitely not overnight.
It's still 50,000 to 100,000 years, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of Bible interpretation you're doing, but it smells like bullshit.
Yeah. I'd just like to know, where are all the intermediate Bibles?
Yeah. Exactly.
Player ever to live.
Well, it would take a lot of work.
Yeah, well, maybe so, but you're a paleontologist, so you probably don't know very much about the kind of training it takes to dominate on the gridiron.
Well, it would depend on your position on the gridiron, the field. A player like...
I think this is like bullshit.
For example, during an average Wednesday, during the off-leg deadlifts, a few plyometric jumps for about 25 yards, I repeat that exercise.
Live in the Word Worm News Studio.
Oh, here we go.
With the very Willie the Worm.
Oh, you got to see the intro for this.
This is Willie the Word Worm, live in the Word Worm News Studio, with the very latest from the world of paleontology. Prominent paleontologist Paleo Paula said in a statement that the Cambrian explosion proves that the fossil record does not support evolution. Many animals appear fully formed in the fossil record with no evolutionary ancestry.
Okay, that's the other thing they keep saying is animals appeared fully formed. Like, how in the fuck else could an animal be other than fully formed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could have been born with just an eighth of a penis. I mean, a wee-wee.
Yeah, okay. Eighth
Just
of a
saying.
pee-pee,
Yeah.
I get it.
Ancestors. Some have suggested that punctuated equilibrium, or the quick change from one kind of animal into another, explains why we don't find fossils of animals that were in the process of evolving when...
And punctuated equilibrium is not about one animal changing into another. That never fucking happens. Animals evolve. They do not change into something else. It's just, oh my goodness.
Or something they're not, right?
And
yeah, something they're not.
They died. But late-breaking reports indicate that punctuated equilibrium has never been observed and does not follow the laws of bi...
Well, like, how long were you observing? How long did you watch? Did you wait 100,000 years? You asshole.
Technology! I'll keep you posted with the latest developments concerning evolution, punctuated equilibrium, and the fossil record.
I can just see a little kid bringing this video clip to school, to biology class.
Yeah.
Like, see? See the worm? Did you listen to the worm? What did the worm say?
The worm told me,
The worm told me.
Oh, bless.
Anyway.
I mean, this is the thing. This is the indoctrination, isn't it? Now, when they actually get to school, they're not going to want to learn anything about science, right?
No.
Any science, because they've already had this thing where that apparently science is wrong. And
they've already undercut the teachers.
Yeah.
Basically, before the kid gets to school.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
it's
the kid.
So sad.
I don't know.
So sad.
I'm trying to imagine how I would have been when I got into science class, if I'd had some sort of religious, indoctrination like that, I guess I would have seen it all as, just current science or whatever. Take a do test tubes and not gone any further, not thought any further about it. I don't know.
Well, sure. I'll be honest with you here, Mike. I think for people of our generation, we were encouraged to learn what was behind the science.
We were, yeah.
I have a feeling that in the modern age, like basic or elementary school teaching is more about, what do they call them? Multiple choice questions.
Yeah.
Right. So, you're going to get 30% of them anyway, if it's 1 in 3, or you're going to get 25% just if you randomly guess everything.
Yeah.
And then
I saw a teacher.
There's going to be some where you actually know the answer because you bothered trying to do the homework in time to know what the answer is to that particular question.
I saw a teacher today talking about, she was lamenting about the state of the kids today. And she was saying that she'll write something on the board about something that happened and ask them to take notes, and they'll take notes. And then later on, she asks them the question whose answer is on the board and in their notes, and they can't even interpret their notes. She said she's claiming that they're not teaching basic thinking skills. It's just all on the surface. And I don't know if it's that bad. I know I have two classmates that I heard from that both quit teaching because they got so depressed. They couldn't stand it anymore. They couldn't. About 50% of it was drug addicts' children's coming to school, uncleaned and lost. And the rest of it was just the basically inability of the children to learn, and they just quit. They retired because they couldn't stand it anymore. I don't know. They did encourage us to think when we were kids, I think. I don't know.
And to do homework, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but if I didn't do my homework, like I was ridiculed in class.
Yeah, I never did my homework.
There are several subjects. Well, maybe you were bright enough, but I remember failing and just losing all the will to be academic at one point. And I went from being like an A grade student to being a D grade student within 6 months, just because I lost the will to actually listen in class and do anything. I thought I knew it all by that stage because I was an A grade student. And then when it came round to actually doing the exams, I completely failed. I mean, I literally just got such bad grades that my dad went, right, look, you can either take this massive fucking beating right now, or you can spend this Christmas holiday, right, in your room reading your fucking books. What do you want? And I went, I'll probably spend my holiday. Probably no. I mean, no chance. No chance am I taking another beat from that man. Yeah. So I was like, well, okay, I'll spend it in my room. So he made me sit down and read books for 6 hours a day, and of course I went back to being an A grade student again within 3 or 4 weeks.
I went from being an A student to being a D student when I went into high school, and it was a result of puberty and the hippies.
Yeah. Well, same with me. I discovered girls and drugs.
I completely gave up.
Girls, drugs, and music was what I discovered.
Yeah.
But like he made me give all that up or stop that for a period of time and just sit me in my room. Made me stay in my room. And all I had to do was read books, and that's all it took. Just reading the books. I never thought I was learning anything, or whatever, because I already knew it. I'd already been an A student, so all I needed to do was actually sit down and read the books and go, "Oh yeah, I kind of do know what this is, even if I don't really know."
My dad had. He was actually happy when I started to get low grades. It actually made him happy. Yeah, and it's a long story, and it's kind of a tragic story and kind of a testament to a real bad childhood. But he didn't care for my book learning, as he called it. But he was proud of me, but he hated it at the same time, and it was really fucked up. But so he never pushed me at all to get good marks. And my mom did a little bit, but she didn't have a lot of control. So. Anyway, So I ended up dropping out and becoming a molecular biologist
instead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, Mum was the opposite. My dad was a high achiever at school, and that gave him opportunities to get away from a very poor background, which he did.
Cool.
And then,
so you're lucky you had that.
Yeah, well, in some senses, yes, yeah. I mean, I took beatings for it, though. You know.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have the best parents at tutoring or anything, but they'd make me sit there and stare at that book at the dinner table. So whether I liked it or not, I was going to have that book in front of me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's all it takes. You don't actually have to apply yourself because it's education, right? It's not like you're actually going to use this stuff later on, particularly. Most of it is just going to go by the way, but what you are learning is how to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus does love the dumb people. That's good. Anyway. Okay.
Anyway, there you go.
Yep. Well, we're coming up on 6:30, so
yeah, I
don't know.
think we should go around and just say what we've seen today. Say what you see.
What have we learned? What have we learned today?
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot
a lot too.
JimBoob.
Mike can find terrible videos too.
Yeah, no, I think I enjoyed the JimBoob. I have to say, I thought that was absolutely outstanding.
He's always a hoot. He's always funny.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we listened to that because now it goes to show you. I think it goes to show you that even somebody who's relatively mediocre, average intelligence can seem like an absolute dumb fuck.
It just left me wondering again: are these people pretending to be this?
I know,
ignorant and uninformed? Do they just have to mentally twist all the principles we've learned about evolution in science? Do they just have to twist it in order to cope and survive? Or do they do this as an intentional propaganda and misinformation campaign? It's exasperating because I just don't see how people cannot get it.
There are a couple times with JimBoob that I thought that he kind of came up as sort of an entertainer and a comedian, and then he started this whole Christian shtick, and it almost seems like he's putting on a show. And sometimes you can't, it's hard to believe that he actually thinks the way he talks. But in listening to him today, when he was actually trying to have a serious conversation with Professor Dave, it's pretty fucking obvious how ignorant he is. So, I mean, I don't think that was performance there. But when you see him on his channel, it's more like performance. Because, like, he'll be listening to somebody basically talk, and he makes all of these facial expressions. So he argues by face. He's like Tucker Carlson with the expressions, the dumbfounded look and all that bullshit, So, yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah. He's like I was.
More method.
He's like I was when I first came into this community. I wasn't philosophically astute at all. I knew some logic, or I thought I was good at logic. But I didn't know philosophy. And for the first year, I think I was out of my depth because every time I was up against a theist who did know philosophy, I would make these like cringe mistakes. Right, as I later came to know them as. At the time, I didn't know they were cringe mistakes, right? Because I hadn't sat down with Ozymandias, right, and sat down and had like 2-hour conversations with him about where I was going wrong and for what reason I was wrong, and et cetera, right? So it wasn't until like people in the community started giving me their time, and Secular Opinion and Soccer Count. Xbox, there's a whole load of people that taught me what I needed to know in order to deal with these theists. And until then, no
incredible.
idea. Yeah, he was very
Ozzy good. Is incredible. I wish he would be more active in the community. I mean, he is incredible. I don't know.
Yeah, he was very, very patient, and I was actually very lucky because I remember I was going through some existential crisis, right? Because I started learning philosophy. And of course, that makes you doubt everything then. right? And I went through the sort of nihilist phase, right?
Yeah.
And I was like really getting quite depressed, right? And I was expounding off into some theist, right? And I was saying, well, that's not what I believe. I just have this more passive view about faith. I think everybody has faith. We all have to take some presuppositions, right? And we can't justify them. And if that's what you want to call faith, then yeah, I'm an atheist. I have faith, right? And the theist went, there you go, owned, you know, done. And I was like, well, I don't know whether that's an owning or not. I just think that I'm trying to be honest and I'm trying to have a decent conversation. And Ozzy came in and just went, and I was, bearing in mind, I was going through this existential crisis at the time. I'd just split up with a girlfriend, an abusive girlfriend. So it was not a nice time for me. And he came in and went, Simos, you're one of the few atheists I know around here that isn't afraid to just say it as it is. And I think that's amazing. You know, I think you're doing a great job. You're a highly intelligent guy. Just keep going, dude. Don't worry about what other people say to you. Other atheists are saying, all of that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, thanks, Ozzy. I really appreciate that. Coming from you, kind of means something, you know. So like, and as I say, at the time, I was in such a bad way emotionally that I needed someone to do that. So whether he sensed that or not, I don't know, because I'm not that highly intelligent. That's for sure. But there you go.
Yeah, I talked to him privately once for about an hour and a half. Back in my library, and it was a pretty cool conversation. He's a pretty decent guy. Anyway. Okay, boys and girls, we're gonna end her.
Okay, I just want to say thank you, and please sub to the Other Hood. Right, that is the Chris Mouty's channel, which debunks race and IQ pseudoscience. So I'm just going to put the link into the chat now. We need as many people as we can get over there. That's for sure.
That's the Other Hood. The Other Hood, that one.
The Other Hood, yeah. Other Hood IQ.
Yeah. I beat you to it. Oh, I did it too. I'll put it in my description.
Thanks to Mike for sending me a message and saying he would host tonight, because I was feeling under the weather. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that offer stands. So we're going to keep it going one way or the other.
I'm sure you'll recover. Just take your time. And have a positive mental attitude. It's all going to get good.
On Tuesday, I am talking to Damien Marie Athope, and I kind of agree with him on a lot of things. And he talks about skepticism, and we're going to be talking about my ideas about naive realism and scientism, and we're going to be fighting it out. And that's going to be Tuesday at noon, and nobody's going to fucking watch the video. I'll get like 30 views, but for the 30 of you that watch it, I love you guys.
That's the fellow that was on with Deacon or Austin last week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I popped in and said, that naive realism is correct and scientism is the only way. And he was like, "What? I got to talk to this bastard."
So anyway, when you say scientism, right? I mean, that's the derogatory phrase that Christians have come up with to say that actually what you are is a materialist in the 18th century, 19th century use of the word, right? Which has been philosophically debunked. So that's why they do it.
Yeah, and that's naive realism is the same way. It's derogatory, just like Big Bang. It's derogatory. But like I explained to ChatGPT when I was talking this over with ChatGPT this morning, I'm a fuckhead, and I like to lead with something ridiculous so that everybody underestimates me, because I like to be underestimated at the outset. So anyway, that's why I do it, because I'm a fuckhead.
Well, yeah, you might say that. I mean, we used to call that in Europe, or the continentalists call that an absurdism.
An absurdism, right? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So,
but I can defend this shit. I can defend this shit. It's like, my favorite thing back in the days when we were doing acid back in the 60s and 70s, I would always get a group of people that are way more stoned than they should be. And I would explain to them that the sun doesn't really, the earth doesn't rotate around the sun, and that the sun actually rises every morning and it's a new sun. And I would make a really good case for it. And after about a half an hour, they'd be like, get this fucker out of here.
Yeah, well, my head.
I'm having a bad trip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was funny.
Absolutely.
And I did that because for one simple reason. I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but like maybe, right? Because I am, like when I'm in the 70s, right? When I first sort of heard about debating and people debating, one of the things in Britain at the time, and the universities in Britain, was they used to have something called the Flat Earth Society. And the Flat Earth Society was meant to give false propositions for people to defend, to sharpen their debating skills, right? That was the whole purpose of it, right? It was nothing to do with actually thinking that the Earth is flat. It's just to do with saying defend the proposition that the Earth is flat in a debate. And if you can, that means you're a great debater because you've got all the rhetoric you need.
Yeah.
So it was like a joke. It was like a joke society. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah. And that led into people thinking it was true. Just because
when are we going to get back to peeling the onion?
I don't know. The problem is I've run out. I've got a few, but not many. I've run out of good topics to discuss. That's the problem.
I'll think of a few for you somewhere along the line.
Oh, please do. If you come up with one, I'll be more than happy to host, really. I used to really enjoy doing them. It's just that, I find it difficult to keep it going on a weekly basis. That's for sure. And then if you don't do it on a weekly basis, people don't come every day, every time.
I know. People are that way.
But I mean, I did some evolution ones. I did, I've done most of the topics, and I have a limited range. So that's why I need other people to think about topical ideas, which are interesting. And as I say, really, I've just been putting my time into doing this race and IQ debunking, which I think
just
is
wrote
quite
myself a note right there. So
okay, thank you.
See it? Oh, Scott, look at this, Scott. Oh, it's a red kitty.
Did you show me the quality cup?
I can show you the quality cup. There it is.
Oh man.
Anyway, someday I really got to tell you about the qualia cup because there's more to this qualia than a red qualia. You see those little highlights? Those are important. And the kitty. Anyway, hello.
When they ask me what red is like or what it's like to be red, I'd say spite.
Yeah. I'd say.
Okay, guys. We're getting the hell out of here.
Have a good night.
Okay. Yep. Everybody,
good night,
goodbye, cruel world. We'll see you. We're ending the stream, and there's